Welcome to the daily NFT market health analysis, and I've decided to also label it accurately, I think, an education live stream, because I often answer questions. And so those of you who have been checking out right after the updates, maybe stick around. If there's some good questions, they can be quite interesting. Of course, it depends on who dials in and whether they have questions, and I can't determine that. I don't make up the questions, I just make up the answers. And sometimes the answers are not too bad. Kale sucks. What a terrible, terrible statement. Like, completely unacceptable. I should be blocked from Twitter. Kale is wonderful. Well, let's give it a couple more minutes for people to dial in. You can usually skip to about 3 minutes in, if you're listening to this after the fact, because that's when the actual matter at hand is discussed. The matter at hand being the state of the market and so on, as I will restate more clearly in a couple of minutes. It's not so sunny today in London, unfortunately. It seems like the sunny days was last week. We're probably back to winter for the next month. But that was a nice preview of summer. And I managed to be ill for most of it, which was wonderful. Oh well, it happens. Okay. Well, it is Sunday, and the markets are often dead on Sunday, and it looks like the live stream is also very quiet on Sunday. So I think I'm going to give it another 30 seconds and begin. Oh, there is one viewer maybe. It's a very popular stream. I'm gonna start turning down the volume and let's get started. So, welcome to the daily NFT market health analysis and education stream, which maybe it won't be an education stream today because there might not be any questions, but where, like, the theme here is we try to analyze what's going on with the NFT market in terms of data rather than vibes. Morning, Zoe. There's a lot of there's always also random stuff going on Twitter and Discord, and it's hard to tell what's actually happening from the sort of random banter there. And the data doesn't really lie. It tells us basically what's happening. So let's get started reviewing the data. So what we can see is that where we were kind of like having a sort of like, you know, hoping for a kind of pattern like this, there's been a bit of a dip. And moreover, the dip has happened across all the indices. It appears not to have happened on the women-led projects index, but actually, as we can see immediately if we look at the bar charts, whilst the dip is obviously there and pronounced on those three, here it actually is also there. It's just there's this yellow project that has gone and sort of pushed things out. You might say, oh, maybe it's the World of Women projects that's been having this big release, or maybe it's a new WoW Galaxies thing that's been trading. Well, it actually can't be WoW Galaxies because WoW Galaxies is not tracked in this index at the moment. As for World of Women itself, it is that grey beige thing at the bottom. So it has actually had a bit of a volume increase there. But actually, in the last 4 hours, for example, it's also had a volume collapse. Which, when I started the written thread, I thought, oh, it's like World of Women is the sole cause of this drop across everything. Actually, I suspect it's just it's Sunday again. And that's probably what's happening across all of these. And it would be happening here as well if it wasn't for that yellow project, that mysterious yellow project, which once I have better tools, or rather once I have improved my tools, because nobody else is going to improve them for me, I'm going to be able to tell which project it is that's doing that. For now, I just have to live with the fact that I don't know, and it would take me about like 10 minutes of fussing about to figure it out. So it's not important enough to figure it out at this point. I think it's just one project. It seems to have died down. It's not wash trading. It's just something happened, whether that's good news or bad news. It's led to a lot of trading over 4 hours and some continued trading over the following 16 hours. So if we look at the top 10, we can see that that pattern of rising bottoms has been broken there. Is that because it's Sunday and World of Women or something? I don't know. Obviously, I can't predict the future as usual, and it could well just go down. And, that might be what happens. I don't know. Or it might rebound and continue back up. I don't know, but we can see that it's going down, and that is not ideal. It would have been better for it to bounce back up and sort of continue the journey up. So that is less optimistic than we might have liked, and we should bear that in mind in terms of our investment, especially since we can see that the prices are following the volume so closely as well. As long as the volume dips down like this, well, prices are not going to go up, and so it's not the best time right now in the very micro scale well, it could be the best time if it's about to rebound, but it's a risky time because we don't know why it's gone down below. It could be Sunday, it could be World of Women, it could be a combination of the two, and yeah, we can't really know which one it is. So I mean, my hope is that this resumes the trend upwards, which was, I mean, actually that's not a bad way to draw it. So I mean, technically you could still say we're in a trend upwards. Depends on how badly you draw the line there. There's also ways to draw it, and my hope is that we resume going upwards. But I am also observing that, who knows, like another theory is that this was the bull market. We had it already there. That was the ape coin, and that's it. We're not getting anything more than that. And now we're kind of descending back. If so, we have some evidence that this could be happening because we now have a lower low. This low is higher than this low, so the low has gone lower. And, this high is higher than this high, is higher than this high, so the highs have gone lower as well. So it could be that we've started another descent down. I hope not. That would be very sad if this is it. If this is the whole bull market that we get, I think I won't be the only one who'll be a bit disappointed by this, and all the other indices will be very disappointed as well because they haven't really had a chance to pump yet. So it would be pretty tragic if that's it. But I don't think so. I think it's just Sunday. So I think it's going to rebound above this, but we'll see. If we look at the Zeneca Old Index, that has also, that was kind of still sort of managing to look like it was moving sideways, and it's now just dipped. So it's looking downwards at the moment, but we knew that that's not going to change until the top 10 shows strength. If we look at the Zeneca New Index, that's even more dramatically going down, and we know that that's not unexpected as well. We knew that until the top 10, until the general market shows that the bull is back on, this index is going to struggle, so it's going to continue to stay at very low volumes here. It's worth looking at the historical volumes of Zen Old as well there, where we can see that it's below where the bear market was back in November, December. So it's very low volumes at the moment. And finally, we have the women-led projects index, which, as I said, is a little bit misleading because there's mostly that one project. Without that one project, it would probably be going like this as well. So overall, it's not a great day for the indices. Whether that's a very pessimistic sign or just something to take on the nose and move on depends on your explanation of what's going on, your interpretation, your prediction. Mine is that it's Sunday, but I could be wrong. There could be something else going on. It is also plausible, and it's worth having that hypothesis available to us that, you know, we're seeing lower highs and lower lows, and that we're now in a kind of downward channel like this. Maybe. I don't know. I can't predict the future. I do want to have a quick look at crypto. Like, as I mentioned in the thread, we're still sort of hovering around the edge of that thing, so like of that flag pattern. So it still could go back in. It's keeping crypto investors uncertain, that's for sure. I'm kind of hoping it goes back in and hangs around there for another week or two. Like, everybody who's trading BTC will hate me for that, but that's my hope, because then we get another couple of weeks of steady crypto that we can, that is quite favorable for NFT investments. And of course, the same is true for Ethereum. It's looking pretty much the same as Bitcoin. Another thing I wanted to have a look at, by the way, feel free to ask questions if you have some questions. And if you don't have questions, that's totally fine as well, is just that World of Women raise. And I wanted to just sort of show like what's happened there and why I think that might have been a factor of, thank you, Bernardo. Why that might have been a factor. Like, there was a lot of trading activity there, and with a lot of like, these are very high prices, you know, like 3 ETH, 1.5 ETH and stuff like that. So as I understand it, what happened is there was a Dutch auction that started at 3 and then went down to 1, and that's where it minted out. And the thing that concerns me about this, and, you know, if I was looking at this as a trader, is and so Mobi shows you the notable buyers and sellers as green and red dots. Green is a notable buyer buying something, and red is a notable buyer selling something. And there's a lot of red there. So notable buyers have sold a lot of their stuff, which tells me that they're not really bought into, like, for the long-term future. And many of you will have seen the Zeneca 33 thread where he talks about flipping World of Women Galaxy. And now, you know, Zeneca 33 is the kind of person who buys, I don't know, like 50 witches, like crypto coven witches at 1 ETH each, just to hold them for the next 6 months to a year. And he minted 10 World of Women Galaxy and flipped 7 of them, I think. That's not a great sign, I think, for the project. And it might be fine. I don't know. I can't tell the future again. It's also interesting to look at let's look here actually, the activity on World of Women itself. So if we look back here, we can see it here as well. So that light beige at the bottom there, which hopefully you can see. Let me draw on it. Right, this light beige here at the bottom, you can see that it's sort of peaked here, and then it's kind of gone down. I'm guessing that's where the snapshot was made. So there's usually, with these things, like, there's a snapshot that where they record the addresses of all the people with the relevant NFTs, and then after that, it's not that valuable to, like, you don't get the allow lists, cheaper mints and stuff from holding a World of Women, and so people start selling it off, and you can see what happened there. You can see that happening here, that the price dropped from about 14.8 to about 12.2, which is not a huge drop, but it's probably about the expected value of the flip, if you were to, you know, be in the cheaper mint. And there's a good question there, which I'll go straight into then. It's been frustrating that recent mints go way below their mint price immediately after reveal. What indicators should we watch out for to avoid holding the bag post-reveal? So there's a simple rule with reveal, is 95% of the time, and that's not recent mints, that's always been the case. 95% of the time, the mints, like post-reveal, the price goes down. And it makes sense if you think about it, because before the reveal, you're holding a lottery ticket. You might have a rare. So the possibility of a rare is priced into the average price, and all the tickets are the same, because any of the pre-reveal NFTs could end up being a rare. So all of them are priced exactly the same. And then after the reveal, the rares get priced a lot higher, but the non-rares naturally drop because they no longer have the expected value of a rare priced in. Now, sometimes it goes the other way, but that's very, very unlikely. And so the better bet always, unless you're planning to hold for 6 months anyway and you don't care, is to flip pre-reveal. In fact, depending on how many skilled traders are in place on that particular project, you might even wish to flip 12 hours to a day before the reveal, because people start letting go, like they wait for the hype to go up to the reveal, but they know that people are going to start selling pre-reveal to avoid that dip. And so they start selling earlier and earlier. So you need to kind of monitor for when the sales activity increases and sell then, so that you don't get undercut by all the other traders trying to get out pre-reveal as well. But basically the key principle is 95% of the time when the reveal happens, the price will dip, and that's normal, and it's not just recent things, and it's not unexpected, and it shouldn't take you by surprise. So if you decide to hold through the reveal, you have a chance of having a rare, but it's gambling. Basically, it's like holding a lottery ticket, and you've paid a bit extra for that lottery ticket for the chance of having a rare, which may or may not realize itself. You could end up with the one out of one, and then maybe like the lottery has worked out for you. I don't like to gamble in this way, so unless it's a project that I'm planning to hold for the next 6 months anyway, I will typically sell pre-reveal. I'll wait for that point where it feels like the price has peaked before the reveal and sell at that point. And if I really feel like buying back into the project, I can then buy back on the floor after the post-reveal dip, which always happens. Hope this helps, Teenage Pigeon. If there are any other questions, I'm also happy to try answering them. Yeah, I wonder why this isn't loading properly. But it kind of shows the dip here as well, where the price went down post snapshot. So it's worth noting with this, oops, you can't see this here, with this dip here, and this is the post snapshot dip, that if you are buying something to get snapshotted and you do it a bit too late, you're actually, like, the price of the thing that you're buying, that you're hoping to get from the item, is already priced into the price of the thing that you're buying. So if you've got NFT A, that's going to give you NFT B, and you wait a bit too long before buying NFT A, NFT A will equal to the price of NFT A will include the price of NFT B inside, and as soon as the snapshot happens, the price will drop by the price of NFT B. That also happened with BAYC and Macy and their Ape airdrop as well. The price shot up massively, and then people got the airdrop, and then immediately the price collapsed back down by the amount of the airdrop or even more. So don't buy to be snapshotted too close to the time. You need to find out about it like quite a while ago in order to actually make a profit from that. I don't do a lot of short-term trading. I did dabble around a bit with it because I wanted to learn how to do it better. That's partly why I hung around on Llamaverse quite a bit, because there's a lot of really skilled traders there and I wanted to learn from them. So I've done mint list flipping, and I've stared at charts and like learned to sense when to buy, to sell, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. But I'm not very good at it, and it's very stressful and a lot of work, so I don't like to do this kind of really short-term stuff. But if you're going to do that, I would suggest joining a community. It doesn't have to be Llamaverse, there are others, but join a community of traders who are really skilled that you can learn from, and also get to use the tools that they've got access to, because those make things a lot easier. There's lots of rarity snipers and also sort of other tools that people can use to try and act more quickly. Like just today, somebody was showing me one called Alpha Sharks, which when a listing pops up, it shows you how many pending transactions are on that listing at the moment. So you can try and front run the transactions that are already on the listing if you're really quick, which would require you to be like, you know, within 10 seconds type of quick, which some people are. So, you know, if that's you and if that gets you excited, then go and join these kind of groups and learn how to do this really well. And you can, you know, you can make a ton of money from this if you're good at it. It's not me, so I'm not doing that at this point. Thanks for the question, guys, by the way. We started the call with the live stream with just with actually 0 viewers until Zoe joined. So I wasn't expecting any questions today, but I'm happy to answer them. I hope they're helpful answers. It's 14:21, so I'm going to put a bit more music back on. And maybe another question will emerge from the music. And if not, that's okay. It's Sunday, we can relax. We don't have to ask questions. We can just let the universe wash over us, like in meditation. One more question. So the question is around what are your thoughts on voxel NFTs? I can't really evaluate a project live on these calls, unfortunately. Like it takes me some time to evaluate a project, and I don't want to do it in a rush while on a live stream and either praise a project that's actually garbage or unintentionally trash a project that's actually really good just because I haven't looked at it closely enough. Also, most of my investigation of a project happens by conversations with people like the founders of the project. So I can't really evaluate a project live on stream. Sorry about that. But you can listen to my podcast, which I will post a link to. Hold on. And the latest podcast episode actually is... Where is my podcast? Here. The latest podcast episode is actually partly about how to investigate, how to evaluate projects for investment, like how both me and my co-host Gabby Kush go about evaluating projects for investment. So if you want my perspective on how I evaluate this that you can then apply for yourself, then try listening to the podcast. And then, I don't think I have the time for that type of trading. My instincts are not fast enough. Which projects are in the women-led index? So you can see that in the description of the video. So if I go, I'll take one of the other videos here and just put that here. And it's fantastic looking at myself like this. And if you scroll down to the bottom of here, you can see the data sets. This is the Zeneca 33 data set, and this is the Ali Sinclair Women-Led Projects Index data set. And here you have the list of projects that's in there. There's actually a few more than this. He sent me a spreadsheet with all the ones that he tracked, and I just copy and pasted it in. And that's the projects that are being tracked. So this is like, I've leveraged other people's sets. I'm sort of tentatively working on a more dynamic index, but it's not quite ready yet. So hopefully at some point it will just be dynamically selected. And then I can just have a page which lists which projects are in the index at the moment. Okay. So, unless there's any more questions, we might call this a day today. And I'll wait for a last minute question to come in maybe, but thank you everybody for listening, either right now or later. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and I hope this analysis is helpful and helps you make better decisions in your investments. You're welcome. Cool. Okay. Have a lovely day, everybody. Take care. See you tomorrow.